or who was the biggest NBA All-Star starter snub? And Dino, if you want to start us off.
So, read me the West All-Star starters again. I didn't catch that. I saw the East though.
You'll say you got it on file?
Yeah, I got the name. So the first person, LeBron James, of course.
Yep,
Then we had Jokic, Zion Williamson, Luka Doncic, Stephen Curry as starters.
I like that. That's fair. My quorum is with the East. So
Oh,
obviously, Kevin Durant, he deserves to be an All-Star starter, but he's hurt right now. So take away the time Kevin Durant's been out, and I understand the fan voting and everything. It's important to keep everyone engaged, yada yada yada. But how is Jaylen Brown not an All-Star starter? Do you put Jaylen Brown in over Kevin Durant? Do you put him in over Donovan Mitchell? I mean, I got my problems with Kyrie in terms of what he did to the Celtics, but the man Kyrie deserves to be a starter. Kyrie's having a cold year, and then again, so is Donovan Mitchell. But I would say Jaylen Brown's the biggest All Star snub because Kevin Durant is out, and he's probably not going to play in the All Star game anyway. So why why is Jaylen Brown not an All Star starter? Because we're number one in the East. Everyone was doubting us in the beginning of the year. This whole Udoka's fired right before the training camp. They got Joe Mazzulla coming in, interim head coach, and we're the 1 seed right now. And the Jays are playing incredible. They're playing out of their minds. Jason Tatum having an MVP season. Jaylen Brown's right there, the Robin to the Batman. It's like, how is this man not an all-star starter? Like, come on now. I think Jaylen Brown's definitely the biggest all-star snub. And I think the West is very fair. I like that West starting lineup. Jokic MVP season, Doncic MVP season. And I think the West is pretty balanced. But the biggest snub comes from the East, Jaylen Brown.
I think for me, I stay in the West. I don't like Zion Williamson being there. He didn't play since January 2nd or something like that. I think the Kings are being very much disrespected. I'm going to go Sabonis here. This is a guy that can slice through a defense, literally coast to coast. He can get tough rebounds. He can pass the ball. I mean, he's averaging 18 points per game, 12.4 rebounds, 7.3 assists. You look at Jokic numbers, who a lot of people consider him the front runner for MVP. It's not too far off. He's averaging more points per game, 25, but I mean, 11 assists, 9.9 assists. Their numbers are identical outside of the scoring. Like, you take a franchise like the Kings, who has not been relevant for the last 17 years. I mean, they've been the worst franchise in professional sports, period. And yet, right now, they are standing at the number 3 slotted position in the Western Conference. Are you kidding me? And I understand De'Aaron Fox is great at basketball, but what Sabonis is doing is a bonus for that team, and that's why they did. He should be in.
Actually, I got two. So I'm gonna stay in the West first with Lil. I'm actually going with Laurie Markkinen. The man's actually having one of the best game seasons of his career, if not the best season of his career. He's averaging 24-point game, 8 rebounds, I believe 2 assists a game, 2 blocks a game. No, 1 block a game. Excuse me. He's shooting 43% from the 3-point line, averaging 3 3-pointers per game. 52% from the field. The Utah Jazz are really still in contention for a play-in because of Laurie Markkinen having such a dynamic season. I think he should deserve to get that NBA All-Star starter. He deserved it, actually. It's unfortunate that, I like Zion. I think Zion's dynamic. I think when Zion was healthy, the Pelicans were the number 1 team in the Western Conference, but Laurie Markkinen is the reason why the Utah Jazz are going anywhere. They have no star player. They have a bunch of role players meshed on one team with a rookie head coach, and he is showing the best season of his career. He's dominating teams left and right, posters left and right. This man is on top plays almost every other night. I'm surprised that he wasn't put on that Western All-Star, and I hope he is still placed in an All-Star ballot. I hope the coaches vote him in because he is just dynamic. He should be a reserve. He should be an All-Star the way he's playing. This is the best Laurie Markkinen. This is the Laurie Markkinen that people anticipated him to be in Chicago. So the fact that he's playing it now, and I love to see it. I'm glad he's having that bounce back of his career. The second one is Joel Embiid in that starting lineup. I understand Tatum, KD, and Giannis all dynamic, but one of them has to go. You can't replace the big man because for whatever reason, because you want to make the game faster or whatever. Giannis, KD, and Jason Tatum, all three of them are not having better years than Joel Embiid. You could pick one of them, maybe two, but all three of those players are not having a better year than Joel Embiid, and I think one of them needs to be removed. In my opinion, you should go KD because KD's been out. He's been out the last, I think, couple weeks, and I think it's going further. I think it's closer to a month, if I'm not mistaken. But I think when you talk about how dynamic Joel Embiid has been, he should be that starter on the Eastern Conference. I think Jaylen Brown is considered a guard, and that's why he wasn't placed in that
Oh yeah, that's right.
role, and that's why KD is kind of still lingering there. But I know right now it was really between Kyrie Irving and Jaylen Brown who's going to get that starter spot, and Kyrie Irving the last month and change has been dominating the game of basketball. It's been ridiculous. I think if Jaylen Brown didn't get hurt and he was still playing at that high level, I think there would have been an argument right there. It could have been Kyrie and Jaylen Brown in that starting spot and Donovan Mitchell off the bench. Because Jaylen Brown, you can make the argument, has been playing better than Donovan Mitchell in the season. So for me, Joel Embiid starter, Lauri Markkanen starter. I think those two were like the biggest snubs for me in that All-Star starter.
I'm losing my train of thought, but I think you said something about Kevin Durant. I want to stick with Kevin Durant here because is the argument he's not playing, or should it be like, look at the Nets right now? Look at their record without him. Even though they've been highly competitive in these games that they lost, there's still clearly nothing with Kevin Durant. And when Kevin Durant did, they was the best team of basketball, period, for like the last like 20, 30 games or 20, 25 games they played. So should there be an argument, and is there a valid case that, look at the Nets without Kevin Durant? He's an all-star, and somebody's going to get that spot anyway if he doesn't play. That's going to be a B spot if he doesn't play.
For sure. Like, someone's going to get that spot anyway if he doesn't play. And that's the argument. What I was thinking about was like, okay, maybe Brown didn't get in like Kevin Durant, but look at what the Nets were doing. You know, they were what, 2-8, 2-10 or something beginning of the year. Kevin Durant, new head coach, Kyrie, they turn it around. They start winning all these games. Like, they get to the 2 seed before Kevin Durant gets hurt. So it's like, okay, yeah, like Durant does deserve it. And the same with Zion, because it's like before Zion went down, I was like, yo, are the Pelicans really about to come out of the West? Like, that's what I was thinking before Zion got hurt. So, I mean, I definitely see the reasoning behind it, why they're the all-star starters, because there's valid points. You know, like the Pelicans were playing unbelievable. They were meshing so well. And then the Nets were playing really well too. So I understand it, but I guess we're going to have to see who the replacements are going to be for Zion and Kevin Durant, see who gets in when they go out because they're hurt. So.
Another thing, real quick, I want to say, because KD was hurt. Why is Julius Randle not getting no type of looks or type of appraisal for the man the way he's been playing? Like, the man is averaging 25, 12, and 4 assists a game, shooting really high from the field goal percentage, shooting threes, making them. He's top 5 in minutes. Why is he not getting looks? Like, I understand the Knicks get a negative connotation. They're not a top 4 team in the East. They're not They're not like a super team. They're not getting the most looks, but it's getting a little ridiculous how much disrespect Julius Randle gets in this season. This man is playing lights out basketball, getting 37 and 10 against against the Boston Celtics. Now, I understand that you got stars of the league, but Julius Randle got to stop getting disrespected. This man is playing at the same level, even higher than when he got one most improved player of the year. Like, this guy needs to stop getting disrespected. It's time to wake up, y'all. Julius Randle is here. It's time to wake up.
Oh, I got to pump the brakes on that one. I mean, look, Randle is playing great. I'm not saying he's not. He is playing great. But, I mean, am I going to finally see it with Julius Randle late in the year and in the playoffs? Because when the Knicks were the 4 seed, right, that during the post-COVID or like the 2021 year, right, when after the bubble, and then he just went MIA in the playoffs against the Atlanta Hawks. Am I finally going to see it at the end of the year in the playoffs with Julius Randle? Like, I don't know. I think a lot of it depends on the matchup. I think if it's against Milwaukee, I think they're going to get washed. I think Milwaukee's going to beat them in like 5 games because Milwaukee has that size. And I think they're very gritty in the paint. That's how Milwaukee is. You know, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, like they got them big boys down there. And Giannis. So I don't know. I mean, am I going to see it with Randle and late in the year? I mean, I feel like that's why he's not in the consideration for being a starter. He'll probably be a reserve, but I feel like that's why he can't be a starter, you know?
I'm going to go around the panel here. I'm going to play the same game that me, Cuzzo, and Zay played a couple months ago, which is more appropriate for this time, where I'm going to throw out a couple names to compare, and we just go around the panel and say who's better and give the reasons why. So, Embiid or Giannis, who should be in that game, even though it's already known who's going to be in there?
Giannis, that's an easy one.
And why you think so?
Giannis is an NBA champion. He led the Milwaukee Bucks to the NBA Finals, and he had one of the most best performances in the NBA Finals of recent memory. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the real deal. He's a back-to-back MVP. Joel Embiid, as we know, has 0 MVPs and is a choke artist in the playoffs. I will not hold that down. I feel that Giannis Antetokounmpo, even though he might not be MVP frontrunner this year or even in the top 3 right now, he's still that dude, Like I've seen Giannis's game really progress as the years went on. He used to be able to not really make his free throws. I mean, he's still a little inconsistent, but he can at least make them more consistently now. His three-pointer is still a little spotty, but what I do notice is that Giannis can shoot that mid-range now. He's improved his game. From when he won MVP the first time, he's gotten better as an all-around scorer and an all-around, playmaker and finisher. I've seen that improvement. With Embiid, I really haven't seen that improvement. It's really just him using his body more. I haven't really seen much from Embiid because Sixers are still getting bounced. He's still getting locked up by Bam Adebayo in the playoffs. And compared to like when he was against the Raptors, getting locked up, getting shut down by Kawhi and them, I haven't seen much from Embiid in terms of him using his body more. That's all I really see. So Giannis over Embiid any day.
Yeah, I'm going with Joel Embiid over Giannis. Respectfully, I think when you look at Giannis, everything that Dino just said, you can easily mark towards Giannis. I think the talent is that Joel Embiid has more talent than Giannis. The three ball falls, the midi falls. He's better in the post. He's better at identifying the double team, being more dominant when he needs to be, allowing his playmakers Harden and Maxey to play when they need to. I think Embiid, when you talk about who needs to show in an All-Star, it needs to be Embiid versus Jokic. Last year's MVP race was between Jokic and Embiid. I believe that's the more dynamic game. When we talk about Giannis and Jokic, Jokic's not standing in front of Giannis. That's not gonna happen. Giannis is gonna be dribbling left, right, all around, or just let him shoot the three. So I think when you look at Joel Embiid and Jokic, those would be the two dominant, the two David and Goliath battling it out in the All-Star. That's something that's more dynamic, something that I definitely want to see, and I would love. I believe Joel Embiid still got another level to his game. I don't think it stops here. I think he still has another gear to go even further and be more dominant. And I think, Giannis, we've seen the best. We've seen the best of the best already. He's starting to develop a three-point shot, but it hasn't really been developed, nor is it falling. He's still regressing to driving into the paint and trying to dunk the basketball. So I think for me, I would go Embiid over Giannis.
That's a tough one for me. It's a head coin toss, like heads or tails, because like I can see the argument when you look at the 76ers and how well they're playing right now. It's a collaborative effort, right? It's Tyrese Maxey coming off the bench and giving that explosion, giving them points. It's James Harden. It's defending the pick and roll with James Harden and Embiid. I think James Harden actually has helped Embiid grow. Like, think about the choice that you had to make as a defender, right? These are guys that can score at will. They can get to the line, they can get to the paint, and now you have a choice when you defended the pick and roll. Who do I stop? That's an advantage. But I do see the argument that Embiid is disrespected when it comes to the media. Like when it comes to the MVP races, he don't get the nod. So it can go either way. Giannis is playing without Middleton right now, and I think that's the difference for me, and that's why I go Giannis slightly, but it's close. Let's go Kyrie Irving to Jaylen Brown. Zay.
I'm going Kyrie. MVP Kyrie, as I call him. He's been playing lights out the last 4 games, averaging, I believe, 39 while shooting 50% from the field and 3-point line and 9 assists. The man is lights out. And I think, when you talk about Kyrie Irving, his handle, his ability to put the ball in the basket, he's more dynamic than Jaylen Brown right now. Jaylen Brown, I always praised him. He's improved since he first came into the league as a slasher, a guy who didn't know how to dribble. Now he has a bevy of dribble moves. He could shoot off the dribble. He could shoot the open three. He could dunk. He could do many different things. It's just not at the level of Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is a wizard on the court. Not a Washington wizard. I mean a wizard. That man should deserve to be a Hogwarts basketball team. That's how good he is. The man is dynamic, and I believe he deserved to be the all-star, starter. He had a lot of controversy throughout this season, a lot. The fact that he got suspended, came back, and just became a different man on the basketball court is beautiful to see. Kyrie Irving deserves to be the NBA All-Star, and it's him over Jaylen Brown right now.
Dino?
Celtics Nation, please forgive me for what I'm about to say, but Kyrie Irving indeed over Jaylen Brown right now. You got to be unbiased here. Kyrie's just, like Zay said, he's playing lights out. Kevin Durant goes down, and Kyrie Irving's playing lights out, crazy basketball. He had, 42, 43 the other night. Man's just killing it right now. And this is no respect to JB, but, JB he's had a lingering injury the last couple weeks. So, I mean, you look at that. It's affected him. He still has to recover. He still has to get back to 100%. I think if you asked me this question beginning of the year in like November, December, I'm going JB all the time. But we're talking about recently and like the last few weeks, like you got to give it to Kyrie because when KD went down, I was like, oh, the Nets are about to tank again. Like that's it. Like you got Kyrie and Bum Simmons running the show. Like this is gonna be they're gonna start dropping some rankings or some seeds. But they held their own. Like they've stuck right in there, the 2-3 seed. Like they're right there. So I got to give it to Kyrie on this one.
I agree. We unanimous here. You look at Kyrie Irving's last 5 games, 30, 48, 38, 30, 40. But the more impressive stat is 6 assists, 10 assists, 9 assists, 6 assists, 7 assists. He's doing it all. The one argument that you can make, and there's a legitimate argument, right? There's an argument that you can make. You have Jaylen Brown, the number 2 on the best team in basketball.
Yep.
That's an argument. I'm going one more here because we had it for time. How about Kyrie Irving and SGA?
I'm going SGA. I'm going SGA. The fact that he's able to bring the OKC to relevancy is where it draws the line for me. OKC is 11 seed right now. They're very close to getting a 10 seed. And they don't have the weapons Brooklyn has. They don't got Ben Simmons, Royce O'Neal, Seth Curry, Joe Harris, none of that. They got guys like Josh Giddey, Luguentz Dort. They got Jaden Williams. They got guys like that. Earl Robinson.
They're not bad though.
They're not bad, but they're not guys who are the same role players as the Nets. These are like the little giants, essentially. The guys that no one anticipated getting to that championship game. Nobody anticipated to win football games or win games in general. And they're just out hustling every team they play against. SGA is his ability to score when they know the floor shrinks. They're not able to just spread the floor and space you out. The fact that he's able to score in that kind of magnitude at the level that he is right now, I believe he's averaging 33 a game on 50% from the field. The man is dynamic. He's dominant. This is the next star. Everyone's talking about, who's the next star coming up? Is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's who the next star is. And then after that, I think Josh Giddey, because I think Josh Giddey, when he goes to the team by himself, he'll have a very similar journey as James Harden. Yeah, he has all the scoring opportunities. He has the opportunity to be the primary playmaker, yada, yada, and he would be dominant. But that's down the line. Right now, SGA over Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is being dynamic. He's a scorer, a wizard. He does it better than everyone else. The only thing he doesn't do it on the other side of the ball on defense, and that's something that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander thrives on. He is one of the elite defenders of the NBA perimeter-wise. And I think SGA right now is over Kyrie because of his defensive abilities, not because of offensive abilities. His offensive abilities is still on par. It's slightly less than Kyrie, slightly less, because Kyrie's more finesse. SGA is more dominant, more physical. He gets to score anywhere he wants. But the defense side of the ball is where SGA thrives on, and that's why he goes over Kyrie.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Zay on this one. Leo, this was a great talk. I was not expecting this. This made me think a little bit, but then I knew, I was like, I gotta go SGA because I've seen SGA live. Like the way he gets to the basket, the way he gets to the paint, and like how he is able to like do these like acrobatic moves, like these finesse moves around the rim and score over these like big guys. I'm like, man, like this guy's cold. And his defense really is outstanding. The OKC Thunder are going to be nasty in a few years. Once these picks keep rolling in, because they have a whole war chest, once these players start getting drafted from the teams like, the Rockets, who aren't good, then the Thunder have those picks. And the Thunder get these young players in the draft to build around SGA, Josh Giddey, all these guys. The Thunder are going to be really cool. But Chet Holmgren hasn't even played yet, and they're still in the freaking play-in. Like, are you kidding me? So it just goes to show, once this team gets fully healthy and they get the band together and they get these pieces, the Thunder are going to be so good. And even right now, they're what, on the cusp of the plan, or they're in the play-in. They're going like, they're fluctuating. I've been seeing. So like the way they've been able to do this, because they were supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league, like bottom feeders, and now they're fighting even just to get in the playoffs. And like the way they're doing it, it's pretty crazy. So I got to go SGA slightly over Kyrie, just because of how much OKC has shown this season with what little they have right now.
It's definitely a tough question. I think as SGA, this team win more games and they get more national, then he'll get his jurisdiction dues, right? Right now, it's not the time because they are the 11th seed, they are the OKC Thunder. But once they start playing better and winning more basketball games, he would get all the accolades he deserves. As far as Kyrie Irving, he has been disrespected. How is this man not a top 75 player of all time? How? In what world? Make it make sense. Oh, I know what it is. It's the COVID vaccine that he said, nah, I'm good. That's what it is. But we all know this guy's a top 75 player of all time. Come on.
We all know he's better than Dame.
Literally. Okay, so he should have been there. I'm glad to see him getting his jurisdiction due being a starter. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not mad at that. But it's always good to talk some hoops here on the show. We're gonna be doing more of that as the football season dwindles down. And speaking of football season, when we come back from the break, we got some predictions we gotta take.